All right, guys, this is my first video. Today what I'm going to do is show you how to apply Etching Armour to a beer stein. I'm going to show you a finished product of etching. Here's a wine glass that I did not too long ago. So you can see that this is permanent. It's different than the regular vinyl because this it can come off, whereas the Etching Armour stays on and it can go in the dishwasher. All right, so the first thing you have to do is print or cut off your design. Here's my design. I'm making some hockey coach beer steins. So I need to find my tweezers, which are here somewhere. When you're looking for something, you can, oh, here they are. All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do is take out the letters. So then that's where we would apply our Etching Armour to. So this one says Bryce. We have to be careful too, inside some of the letters, like this one's an R, there's that little circle. So you have to be really careful that you get that. I always have a pin close to me, just because the tweezers I find don't get it to stay. So I can use my pin, like this one's a B, so I can actually hold down my insides of my B just to make sure that they're going to stay there, because they are quite important to our name. All right, so I have Bryce. I'm going to keep going. This is our hockey puck and our sticks. (2017 to 2018). So what I'm going to do after I do this is apply it to my beer stein. But before that, I'm going to wash my beer stein for sure. We want to make sure that it's clean from dust and anything like that. So I'm coming up to the 2018. The 18 is giving me a hard time. I tried to do some before. So worst case scenario, I lose the O's inside, or the circles inside the 8. I print new ones and I put them down. I'm going to be hopeful, and I'm going to use my pin here and try to get it. And so far, I think I've got the first one. I feel like I'm a surgeon sometimes. This has taught me patience. Oh, I got peace, and I don't like it. Okay, so all I'm doing is getting rid of that. You can see that I lost the holes inside. I'm just going to redo it later before I put it on. No big deal. Before, I used to spend a lot of time trying to get it, and it was like more hassle than anything. So I just skip it now, and I'll go back to it. That's a good thing with vinyl. You can just redo it. All right, so I have everything so far except those 2 O's. What I'm going to do, I printed some earlier. I'm just going to steal some so then I can keep going. And I'm using my pin, my handy dandy pin. Stick those O's in. There's one. And here's the other one. Make sure it's lined up. You can kind of see where they were, the first ones. This is handmade, so it's not perfect. All right, I got it. Awesome. Okay, so here's my beer stein. I need to get rid of my label and wash this quickly. I should have did that prior to coming on. All right, so what I'm going to do is just, I don't know if I can pause this or not. Let's see, is there a pause somewhere? This is my first time, so bear with me. No, it's not. So I'm going to run over and get this cleaned, and I'll be right back. right, I am back. It is cleaned. I just got to dry it. Make sure it's all dry. So I'm seeing a little bit of residue from the thing. Afterwards, I will get rid of that with my stuff that I have. I'm just going to ignore that for now and go on the opposite side. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my mat. I want to find out where the center is of my beer stein. So then that's where I'm going to put my Bryce at, the coach. So what I do is I find the line that is going to match up to the here with my cutting mat. I'm going to center it. So then I know this is the center of my beer stein. So I have my center marked. All right, so that's the center of my beer stein. So that's where I'm going to put this. So I need to get my transfer tape, which is over here. I got this at ND Graphics. At first, I was buying mine at Michael's. Definitely not a good idea. It cost me a fortune. So this big 100 feet, I only do 6 inches wide because really if you're doing 12, you can double it and you save the money. I think this cost me about $50, lasts me a whole year. So definitely worth it. All right, so I'm going to lay my transfer tape over it. And I'm going to get my scraper and I'm going to scrape so it seals. You want to have trim around it because you don't want the etching armor to touch the glass. I made that a mistake a couple times. If it goes on the glass somewhere else, it will eat away at the glass. So you will have it on there. This is a little bit too big, so I'm going to trim this one down a little bit, just so it's a little kind of straightish too. That's even a word, straightish. All right, so I got my Coach 2017, 18, and Bryce. So I'm going to peel it off, and it's stuck to my transfer tape. Perfect. All right, I'm going to take my beer stein. Oh yeah, that's the center. So actually, normally you hold it this way and you see that. So I don't need the center for this one. That's the wine glasses. Okay, ignore what I did there for finding the center. And if they're right-handed, so you want the label this way. So I know the label is going to go here. All right. This is tricky sometimes to get this. I like to hold it on my lap so then I can get it good. You don't want any air bubbles. You don't want any gaps because then the etching armor is going to go onto the glass somewhere else. I'm going to hold it up a little bit just so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to eyeball it. This isn't a really good cut. You can see that it's crooked. So now I have to follow the writing and not my crookedness. So let's see what I got. Coach Bryce. And I'm going to lay it down. The beer steins are really nice because they're big, so you don't have to worry too much about it getting air bubbles. Ah, perfect. I got it laid down. So what I'm going to do now is go and push this really hard because I have to take my transfer tape off. I don't want no bubbles. It's okay if you get bubbles here, it doesn't mean anything because that's not where I'm putting the compound. It's in the name. So that's where the bubbles mean something. Before I actually do it too, I'm gonna see how straight I am just because my transfer, or not my transfer, my vinyl went on crooked, like it was crooked. I wanna see to make sure. So if I wanna see if something is straight, I have these coasters. Wipe on, wipe off markers are a godsend with anything like this because you can use it. So that's a little high. I just want to make sure that, so you can see it's not bad actually. Not bad at all. So I'm going to leave that. Like I said, it is handmade, so it will not be perfect. So I'm okay with that. Just wipe it off. All right, so now I'm going to attempt to remove my transfer tape. And the vinyl should be staying on. I want my vinyl staying on. So be careful with those small little inside the 8. We want to go slow. If we see any air bubbles, we want to get rid of them. Take our time. Take our time. So I see some air bubbles, which is awesome. So you're going to get to see them, hopefully. So right here is an air bubble. It's not touching, but it's close. So I'm going to push it out away from that bead, just in case. I don't want it near it. So I'm going to make sure there's no air bubbles around my thing. Awesome. It looks pretty good. All right. Next thing we do is the Etching Armour. So you want to brush and your compound. So you should be wearing gloves. Actually, before I do that, when I first started out, I used to do this because when you're getting rid of it in the sink, washing it off, you don't want it to touch your glass. Because like I said, it will eat away at your glass and it will leave marks where you don't want them. So I'm just going to put some of this tape around it so it doesn't touch the rest of your glass. All right, perfect. You should wear gloves too, because it does say to wear gloves. I'll be honest, I don't do it all the time. I do when I'm getting it off because I use my hand to rub to make sure I got it all. All right, so another thing I learned too is never throw it away afterwards, reuse it. You can put it back in your thing. I'm just going to use a stick to stir around my compound. So this is sold at Michael's. It's expensive, so use your 50% off for sure. All right, so I'm going to use, I think, this size brush today. So I put lots on and I take my time. Like I go inside the letters because then it's not touching or going out underneath my stencil. There are glass particles in here. It's like chunky. So I think on the bottle it says, I don't know, a couple minutes. Someone, I don't know who told me, but I seen it in one of the sites, but I do it longer. I think I do 10 minutes. The longer it's on, well, actually, no, it'll only do so much. 2018. Well, there's a big chunk of glass or something, whatever it is. 2018. And my hockey stick. Yeah, at the beginning, I was then taking this off and getting rid of it until I had read one of the sites that it said, why not just scoop it back into your thing and reuse it? And I'm like, wow, that's smart. Because it is expensive. So you want to get your money's worth. And the hockey stick. So when I first started doing this too, I would just leave it, and it comes out with like a shadow around it. So then I read somewhere that someone said they kept moving it, like during the whole 10 minutes, like they kept like stirring, like moving it. So I did do that. It seems a little bit better, but you still get that shadow. I think you always will, unless you have a sandblast machine thing. So I'm almost there. 2 more letters. So it's good if you do multiple of these at once, and then you get them all done. All right, so I got it on. I'm going to set my timer, 10 minutes. And start. All right, so you can see it's on. And I'm just going to keep moving. I'm going to keep moving it, but not being fast because I don't, like I'm. So that's what I do for 10 minutes. You don't have to, but I do. So then once the time goes up, I am going to use my brush and scoop this as much as I can back into my bottle. Then I'm going to go over to the sink and wash it off, and wash it fast because I don't want any of the compound touching the rest of the glass. It does have a little odor to it too. I just got a whiff of it. I think it says, yeah, extreme danger. Oh, do not ingest, inhale, dilute with water, wear protective clothing, eye protection. Well, guess I didn't have proper eye protection, but I don't think it's going to go flying at me, so I'm safe. I do have a mask. I could have wore that. These make great gifts. Bear steins. Great for Father's Day, great for coaches. You could fill it up with candy. You could put really anything in it. And like I said, it is able to go in the dishwasher because it's permanent, which is a good thing. You want lots on it too. You don't want it skimped, like where you can see the letters. You want to chunk it. Just better for it. How much time on that? Oh my gosh, we still got 6 minutes to go. Guess I'll have to figure out how to do the pause thing so then you guys don't have to be hanging with me the whole time. There's gotta be a pause there somewhere. I'll put this down. Nope, sorry. I'll have to figure it out for next time. I've done this on plates. I've done it on wine glasses, as you saw. I've done this on cake trays. I've done this etching. You really could put it on any glassware. There is another thing that you could use for etching. It's called a sandblasting unit. It's a big machine and it's pretty cool actually, but it's a few $100s. You can use that on mugs. I don't really do that much, so I just stick with this. And it is relaxing. Just focused on moving this stuff around. Minutes left. So at about 9 minutes is where I start to take off the excess stuff and put back in my jar. One more minute. I think somebody said that they sell this at Home Depot too. I haven't seen it there, which I should really look because I have to drive to Nanaimo an hour away to get this. So I should look and see if they have it because I have one local. It's with the Mod Podge stuff. Right, I'm going to start taking it off. So all I'm doing is going down and scooping it back in. I still want to be careful. I don't want to remove those letters. So you can see how much I'm saving. I used to throw out until somebody said, why don't you just put it back in? Because it doesn't affect it. Which made so much sense. This is the scary part for me. Going to the sink, did it work? All right, so I'm gonna put my brush there and I'm going to take you with me. Let's see how this goes. All right. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take off the green. I'm gonna turn this water on hot, take this off green, and I'm going to rub it with my glove inside as fast as I can. So you can see I got it all off. And now I'm going to take my stencil off and see how it goes. It just comes off easily. And if you have a little issue, just put it back under the hot water and take the rest off. There'll be little its and bits. Just use your nails and scrape it off. All right. So I'm going to take it back over, get rid of my gloves, and dry it and see how we made out. Okay, let's see. Looks great. All right. Oh, no, it doesn't look great. Oh, that's the, let's see. No, it's not so great. I don't know if you can tell. My coach seemed to go down. So unfortunately, I have to redo this, so it's no good. It's not something I would buy, so you want good quality. So I have to redo this, unfortunately. That happens sometimes, and you just chalk it up as a learning lesson. All right. Well, sign off for now.